D-Ring saber bands. Megtooth Sith, aka Kylo Ren, got something for you. I know when you saw the Force Awakens that you thought I lost it, but I didn't. I have the saber. My grandfather slayed children with the saber. I have it. It's mine. You can own the saber too. Just send Megtooth Sith some money. Lights off. If anyone sees my Uncle Luke Skywalker, I have something for him. I'm coming for you, Luke. I'm coming for you.
This Force Awakens lightsaber comes with everything you see here. You got your Maz Box, which I'm going to show you in a minute. You got your custom Saber Shop 3.7 volt charger, the thumb screw for blade retention, the extra red button you can use to convert it to the Empire Strikes Back version, your custom Saber Shop blade plug, your R.I.C.E port to micro JST for this saber, that's your R.I.C.E wire, a saber blade with your choice of round tip or bullet tip. This lightsaber is also going to come with this lightsaber stand and plaque. I'm going to leave this plaque unattached so you can either, later attach it to the saber stand like this. And there's the saber stand. It's a 3D printed saber stand for your lightsaber. And I finished it in gloss black. And let's show you the inside of the Maz Box. So you flip open that hook, flip down that latch, flip up this latch, and bada bing. And then the lightsaber fits in there just like that. And the reason I want to leave the plaque loose is if you want to use it like that to display your saber, then you can. Or you can put the plaque on your lightsaber stand. But that's everything this includes. I custom made this Maz Box for this saber and lined it with burlap, and I even sewed a burlap pillow for the lightsaber that rests in the box, and the lightsaber can rest on that burlap pillow, and this is all foam padded underneath the burlap, including in the lid. And you close it up, close the hook, close that, and you're off. I custom made that Maz Box. There's the back, sides, the front, with the hook, side, back, and then the top. It's my custom Maz Box, custom made for this lightsaber. Welcome to the Mad Scientist Lab. So what we have here is Graflex. This is in the Force Awakens, and we'll start from inside. So number one, it does have a custom Saber Shop Graflex blade plug, and that blade plug has been milled down so it sits at the appropriate depth. It's flush with the inner core. It has the Graflex Shop red button, which is a
Close your eyes.
actually functioning red button from the Graflex shop. It's awesome. It's got a spring inside it. It's the first one I've installed. It is incredible. This one has dual activation. It has clamp card and red button activation, and the auxiliary switch is also in the clamp card. It's also got a flat beer tab from the Graflex shop,
The saber. Take it.
a brass eye, and I say brass eye because that's what Shamim wants us to call them, is brass eyes. So okay, Shamim, it's a brass eye. Now this brass eye that I've milled down this is from KR Sabers. This is a KR Sabers glass eye, brass eye, Shamim, that I've milled down to expose the brass, and this is shine through. So there is a hole in the inner core that allows this to shine through, and boy does it shine through. In the inner core, I've modified it for the switch for the Graflex red button, and also the LED in the inner core is a Tri-Cree, and it is a Tri-Cree that is RGB, but it's deep red, green, royal blue. So it's a unique RGB in that it's deep red and royal blue, and the royal blue works really good for the Force Awakens. After the LED module, we have inside a Goth3D Designs night chassis system with a crystal chamber, and the crystal chamber is illuminated with an RGB LED that matches the blade. So whatever the blade's doing, the chamber does instantaneously at the same time. It's awesome. This saber is just outstanding. It is absolutely incredible. Also in the Goth3D Designs chassis are 4 accent LEDs, and I've actually programmed the sequence on those accent LEDs. They're awesome. It's outstanding. And the driver, the board that's driving the saber, is a Plector Labs Prizm 5.1. And if anybody has never seen the Prizm 5.1, wow, what an outstanding board. It's just amazing. It's got 6 fonts on there and multiple color sets. I mean, you can make so many color sets on this, it's ridiculous. And I've programmed, you know, color sets into this. Now, a lot of different shades of blue, because this is a Graflex lightsaber, so I wanted it to have all the shades of blue. That's what's on the inside. What's driving the saber power-wise is a Panasonic 18650 battery from the custom saber shop, and you have a Railmasters 28mm speaker that I think is better than the premium speaker and just as loud as the high bass speaker. It basically is an excellent speaker for the Graflex. It's hard to make these Graflexes loud the way that the Goth3D Designs chassis is, because he puts, you know, he puts the speaker here, and the speaker has to go through the crystal chamber and accent LEDs and the board and everything else, and by the time the sound gets to the pommel, you know, it's gone. On the Graflex pins, I've added the brass tabs, the electrical tabs on the brass pins, and those are from KR Sabers. I've added slotted screws forward of the glass eye and also right here on the clamp. I've added a clamp card from Sloth Furnace. I've added the coin button end from KR Sabers, and I realize that the stamped coin end is not accurate for TFA, but you know, I mean, you look at it from a distance, you don't know that it's stamped. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still awesome. It's still better than the drilled what you have. On the grips, I've used rivets to attach the grips, and I've hollowed out the rivets for sound to get through. As you can see, you've got the D-Ring, the Kobold D-Ring here. And basically, what you have when you add all this together is one hell of a lightsaber. TFA saber with the shine through glass eye. Here's the bonus. You can remove this glass eye, and I'm going to include this with the saber. So there's the glass eye from KR Sabers that I milled down to brass. And I'm going to include and send this red button, and I've actually still put the tactile switch underneath it. And I've also modified this red button, painted it with the proper paint, so it's the brick red paint on that button. And I'm going to send this button with you so you can turn the Force Awakens saber into a quasi-Empire Strikes Back saber by just simply screwing in that red button. Now it's a non-functional red button. It doesn't work for blade retention or anything, but it gives you that second red button. The only thing you're lacking on ESB is the Mylar strip and the ESB clamp card, and boom, you've got two sabers in one. You've got the Force Awakens, and you add the red button that I'm also including, and boom, you've got Empire Strikes Back. So you've got the best of both worlds. So all you need to do to convert it back to the Force Awakens is reinsert the glass eye and screw it in, and boom, you've got Force Awakens.
Hello there.
Hello there. There's your glass eye. Now when you take the glass eye out, you get to see some of my, you know, crazy engineering. But there you can see the hole that's been cut in the blade plug. You can see the blade plug through this hole that's been cut, so that you have full shine through on the glass eye. But at any rate, when you put that red button in, y'all have seen it with the glass eye. So I'm going to put the red button in. When you put the red button in here on the bottom, you can see there's a little bit of shine through in the red button there that's getting around the switch. But the bottom line is, for the most part, I mean, you've got ESB right there. I also want to talk to you briefly about wires. In all of my sabers, as per the suggestion of Darth Alice, I use PTFE coated wires. This is a little bit different than normal insulation. PTFE is military spec and heat proof coating on the wires instead of normal typical rubber insulation, and this is what it looks like. Now the cool thing about PTFE is as you're soldering on PTFE and you touch your soldering iron to the wire, a lot of times what will happen on normal wires, this insulation will actually melt back, and on PTFE you can touch your soldering iron to that insulation and nothing happens. It doesn't do anything to it because it's heat proof. So PTFE is very awesome because it stays stripped where you strip it to. So this makes my wiring connections on the Plector Labs Prizm 5.1 very solid, and it makes my wiring connections on the LEDs and the accent LEDs and everything else just as solid too. So PTFE stranded wire, 30 gauge and 28 gauge is what I used in this saber. It's what I use in all my sabers. That give you some peace of mind that your saber is built to last. The actual clamp for the Graflex clamp, the clamp lever, I've modified it so it spins, so you can spin it to close it. When it comes from the factory, you can't really turn these, and I've done the modification so that this Graflex clamp can actually spin, so you can adjust the tightness of this clamp. Welcome to the instruction manual for the TFA Graflex that I built for you. I can survive in space. Here it is, sitting on your Maz Box, which I just about finished today. The first thing is to show you how to take the bottom of the hilt off. You want to undo the clamp lever and back it off about a turn. Don't back it out too much. And then you slowly unscrew the hilt. And then take it straight off. And then there's your Goth 3D Designs chassis. Now I left two of the brass bars out to expose the crystal more, but at any rate, there's the saber. You know, you can display it in a saber stand like this with the crystal chamber exposed, and this saber is going to come with a saber stand, which, you know, hopefully that doesn't need any explanation. But you can display it however you want. It's your saber. But at any rate, to turn on the saber, it's got a rotary kill key here on the back. So to turn on the saber, you rotate that kill key.
Close your eyes.
Until you hear the boot sound.
Feel it. The light.
Now once the boot sound's finished playing, you're also going to see the LED starting to flash in the back.
The saber. Take it.
There comes the LED. So the saber is now ready to use. Now, to ignite it, you can ignite it in one of two ways. This has red button activation here up front, so you can either press the red button, and that ignites the saber. You can also hold the red button to turn it off, or you can push the front of the clamp card in right here. Either way works. Now, if you're going to demo this saber for your friends, I've said previously in the video, or I'm getting ready to say it in the video, that this back button doesn't work well when the lower hilt isn't on. So if you're demoing it for your friends, you turn on the saber here, and you can press the auxiliary button here that gives you your blaster blocks. And if you press and hold it, you get lockup. That's your lockup. As soon as you release it, the lockup turns off. You want to get a blaster block, you just press it briefly. Just like that. When we're putting back on the bottom of the hilt, the switch has to be lifted. The clamp switch holder has to be lifted so you can get the lower hilt in there. Slowly slide it into the threads. Now, sometimes this chassis wants to hold that lower in a way, I'm going to shut that off, wants to hold that lower in a way where it doesn't want to thread on right, it wants to cross thread, so you got to be careful that it's threading. It did thread just fine. But the problem is that 3D chassis sometimes wants to misalign the lower when you're putting it on. This thing is very tight. Align it just like that. Now, because the bottom is back on, I'm going to slide the clamp card back, and then remember to tighten your clamp lever one turn, and there you go. So the reason I put the lower on is I want to demonstrate color changing for you and how you do that. So you ignite the saber, and to change colors you press the auxiliary and the main button at the same time, and you hear a color change sound and the color changes. There's green, light green, gold, purple, there's 10 color sets on board. There's your pure red. I have put at least one of each pure color on board. And now we're back to the royal blue that's appropriate for TFA. So I'm going to turn it off. Now, to change fonts, you press and hold the auxiliary button until you hear a beep. Then release it. This is the second font, Bespin. You can only change fonts when the blade is retracted. You can't change fonts when the blade is out. To get to the next font, press and hold auxiliary button. Graflex 4. Now remember, you get your blaster blocks by pressing the auxiliary button, which is on the back of the clamp here. To get your clash, you press and hold. Lockup. There's your lockup. When you're done locking up, just let it go and the saber resumes to normal operation. To power off, you can either press and release the red button or press and release the front of the clamp card. Let's try the red button here. And now it works. So that's your basic operating manual on that portion of the saber. So now I want to talk about the R.I.C.E interface. I put a custom plug for R.I.C.E, which is a micro JST 3-prong adapter, right here in the top of Goth's chassis. Took a lot of milling and work to get this to work out. Chassis is really not designed for R.I.C.E. But at any rate, there's your R.I.C.E plug. Now, if you can see its orientation right now, the little keyway is on the bottom, and when that keyway is on the bottom, it has to be inserted into the R.I.C.E port. That keyway has to be pointing down toward the recharge port, and you gently insert the plug like this until it's seated like that. Now your plug's not going to look like this. I have this rigged, like I said in the, well, you're going to see in the video. This is just rigged right now so I could test everything and test my install. But everything is gentle here. This is a very fragile part of the install, this JST connector. I'm going to try and solidify it a little bit more to kind of dummy proof it. But at any rate, once the JST connector is in your Saber, then you take the USB portion of the R.I.C.E plug and plug that into your computer, turn on R.I.C.E, turn on your Saber, and you're only modifying the color set and font that you currently have the Saber on. And you have to click on two things. So you need to watch Mad Cow's video on using R.I.C.E. You have to save
this
the override.
TFA Graflex lightsaber is equipped with R.I.C.E. R.I.C.E stands for Real-Time Internal Configuration Editor. Basically, you can plug your lightsaber into your computer and you run this R.I.C.E program, and you're able to edit the color sets, the flicker, the clash, accent LEDs. You're able to edit and configure a lot of the internal settings right on your computer. So if you don't understand how to edit the SD cards on your computer, you can edit a lot of the Saber functionality here with R.I.C.E. Now, how I adapted R.I.C.E to this chassis was I used micro JST connectors, 3-prong. There is a female 3-prong in the chassis, and the plug that I'll be sending you with the Saber has a male micro JST to USB. The USB plugs into your computer. The male micro JST plugs into the lightsaber. It's a pretty awesome addition.
I mean, the cool thing is like, you know, there's like an ice blue like I couldn't even find, and now I know what to do to make it. And then flash out clash, you can adjust that too. Isn't that awesome? There's R.I.C.E. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Adjusting all that on the computer. So the Empire Strikes Back Saber and the Force Awakens Saber both have R.I.C.E capabilities. I'm going to include a quick stick with R.I.C.E on it for the computer. Now look, it's finicky. You know, but once I've got it working here, I mean, it's working good. Isn't that insane? You're sitting here adjusting the color set on the Saber. And then, you know, I'll also link the videos you gotta watch. But the bottom line is, you've got R.I.C.E. Look at that. You want a red blade? Slide over here to red. You know, there's your red. Pure red. And then you want to go to orange, you can go to orange. And you want to slide over here to green, you got green. You want like lime green. There you go, you got lime green. You want light blue. Crazy light blue. Crazy light blue, almost white. There you go. Then you can go into deeper shades of blue. You can manually adjust the slider to be what you want it to be. So there's your pure blue on this Saber. And then you want pink. You can have pink. You can have dark pink. That is awesome. Isn't that awesome? R.I.C.E. it took a lot of innovation to put this R.I.C.E port in here. And the one you're going to receive is going to be way better than this. This is micro JST, and I made it look just like Goth3D's chassis, and then had to repaint the whole thing. But it's a micro JST right in there. I also had to modify the bottom of the chassis to hold it. So you're going to receive a micro JST. Now this is a little bit jerry-rigged how I'm making this work right now, but you're going to get a micro JST to a USB cord, and basically you're going to plug this into the Saber. Now on this micro JST, this channel goes down when you plug it in. You got to be careful or you'll make those USB tabs, the connector tabs, push into the Saber. So I'm going to hot glue them so they don't do that anymore. But the bottom line is, you got R.I.C.E on ESB and TFA. I mean, what more can you want? This is awesome. The recharger, this is a charge port. To recharge your Saber, pull out the kill key, insert the charger, and then plug your charger into the wall after you plug it into the Saber. This way you don't get an arc or a static discharge at your recharge port that could go to the board. Once this is plugged into the Saber, the board is taken out of the loop. It's not even connected anymore. But that's how you recharge. Now on the charger that I'm sending, which is a standard custom Saber shop simple wall charger, it's a 3.7 volt charger. The red light comes on when it's charging the battery, and then when the battery's finished charging, you get a green light. When you're done charging, remove the charge plug, put in your kill key. Now, the Prizm board is equipped with a deep sleep mode, and I basically leave the Saber on all the time. It'll go into deep sleep. It'll hold that charge for months in deep sleep. Deep sleep is a really nice feature of Plector boards. Today, I also made two blades, one with a round tip and one with a bullet tip. So you're going to have to decide which type of tip you want. You want a round tip or bullet tip. Some people don't like bullet tips because they say they look phallus. The last thing I want to show you about this this TFA Graflex Saber is I'm also sending you a thumb screw that makes blade changing easier. So normally the blade retention is this flathead screw that's just in front of the glass eye. That's how you keep blades in. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that flathead screw. You have to carry a flathead screwdriver on you, and you want to keep this in your Maz Box or somewhere. You don't want to lose that one. And then you take your thumb screw, insert your thumb screw in the same hole that came out of, and the reason the thumb screw comes in handy is because then you can change between blade plug and blade relatively easy. So I'm gonna take out this blade I just built. Now the blades have a cap on them, so you got to take that cap off, and I've used rubber caps and they're pretty tight. So you take the cap off. Be careful not to tilt the Saber this way. There's cellophane in here. You don't want it to fall out. It's supposed to be in there. Leave it in there or else you'll mess up the blade. You fully seat your blade, then you tighten your blade retention thumb screw that I've supplied with you, and you're ready to rock and roll. To put your blade plug in, you simply loosen the thumb screw, pull out your blade, make sure you put the cap back on the end of your blade, then take your blade plug, which there's the blade plug, you can see it. Take your blade plug and insert it into the rabbit ears, and you have to squeeze the rabbit ears so it can eke by them because there's nubs inside. Once you squeeze the rabbit ears, it just drops right in there. And then once it drops right in there, you can tighten your thumb screw and you're good to go. Or if you're going to display it long term and you want it to look accurate, just go ahead and remove the thumb screw, and again, don't lose the thumb screw, and then you put in your standard screw back in. These are 440 threads, by the way. The reason the flathead screws are a pain in the rear is because you got to carry a screwdriver with you everywhere, and you know, it's kind of hard enough getting around at a con or whatever you're doing. without having to carry a screwdriver around, which is why I'm including the thumb screw. But there you go. All done. That's your instruction manual for the Graflex 2.0 in the Force Awakens configuration. And I hope you enjoy this saber and enjoy the demo video. It's a long one, but it's detailed. That way, hopefully I can answer all questions that you have. May the Force be with you. So I've removed the pommel of the saber just really quick. Wanted to shoot this to show everybody my accent LED programs. So I want to see if the camera can see them. I wrote the accent LED program, and it does a back and forth thing, then it does this counter, then it does a chase sequence all the way around the inside of the saber. And then after the chase sequence it gives all four, and then it goes back to the back and forth. Back, forth, back, forth. Counter, chase. That's pretty cool. I wrote that. But I wanted y'all to see that. And one of the accent LEDs does stay on until it goes in deep sleep, which is on pad number 1. Alright, let's take the...
Close your eyes. Feel it. The light. It's always been there. It will guide you. The saber. Take it.
Still have some touch-up paint to do here on the chassis, where I had to sand it down where it wouldn't fit on the lower hill. But this is the TFA sound font. As you can see, the crystal chamber matches on flash on flash. There's lockup, and there you can kind of see the accent LEDs kind of going through their sequence. Which again, you know, you can see the sequence better from behind. So, here's the cool thing. Different shades of blue. And then you get to a green, almost a lime, an orange, a white, which you can see the shine through glass eye there too. I wanted everybody to see that. That is awesome. There's almost like a purple, and the crystal matches. And by the way, that's a real quartz crystal in there. And then we're back to the standard blue with matching flash on flash. What an awesome board. What an awesome saber. Here we go. The Force Awakens lightsaber. Bada bing, there she is. Let's go for all the color changes while we're here. Green, gold, lighter shaded gold, gold again, really light purple or white, purple, you can see the shine through eye there, still a purple. or brighter purple, pure red with a green flash on clash, gold or yellow. There we are, back at the pure royal blue with a white flash on clash. Next font. Bespin 2, Mad Cow. Starts off on the light blue. Laser deflection. Clash. Power off. Next font. Graflex 4 by Shamim. Laser blocks. Clash. Power off. Next font.
Hello there.
Should be dark meat. Actually, this is light meat. And this has the blaster deflections designed for NeoPixel. Hear how you hear the blaster? And then you see the deflection later in the saber? Pow! Pow! That's for NeoPixels. Next font. Gray meat. Blaster deflection. Again, you get the NeoPixel design, where you press the blaster deflection and you get the deflection delayed. Clash. Power off. Next font.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it? Yes.
Kylo Ren TFA. Blaster blocks. Lock up. Clash again. Power off. We're back to the first font, which is Shamim's TFA Graflex. You see the shine through glass eye? This is an awesome lightsaber. How awesome is that? Here's another feature of the Prizm 5.1, and it's very similar to the Nano Biscotti in that you can, if your wife is annoyed by you playing with your lightsaber, or your husband or your parents, and you want to light it up when it doesn't make any sound so you're not bothering them, the cool thing about Prizm 5.1 is it has mute on the go. So how you activate mute on the go, you press the auxiliary button and then you activate, and boom, you're in mute on the go. Now when you're in mute on the go, you still have the flash on clash effect, you still have your laser block effects and your lockup, but it's in mute. There's no sound. Now, the only time there is sound, which this can be configured on the board, is when you shut the saber off. It gives you the retraction sound. So you should hear a retraction sound here. And that's letting you know that the board's working normal. And then when you just press the power button without the auxiliary button, boom, you light back up with sound. Mute on the go on Prizm. Last bit of demo on the Empire Strikes Back saber. The Prizm 5.1 does have a force push effect in it, and how you do it is you press the aux button while you're swinging and you'll get a force push sound effect.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Now on some of the sound banks it's, you know, it's like it sounds like a force push. In some of the banks it's a quote, like on Graflex 4 it said, if you strike me down I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. So that's the last thing on the Prizm 5.1 that it's capable of, and it does take some practice to get that down, but again, you hold the aux switch while you're swinging, and you know, the thought is push out with your hand like you're using the force when you do that, and you get that sound effect. Now, the cool part about this lightsaber is it's also coming in this box. I've spent the last few days working on this box. This is my Maz Box, and it's awesome. I mean, this lightsaber, the features that are on it, it comes with R.I.C.E, it comes with the Maz Box, it comes with the charger, it comes with the blade. There's nothing else you need. This thing is awesome. This is the best lightsaber I've ever built to date. The functions and features and the accuracy upgrades and the convenience upgrades of the thumb screw make this saber second to none. Second to none over anything I've ever produced. This saber is absolutely awesome. It does not get any better. You can see what the thumb screw is going to look like there. This is the thumb screw you can use for convenience. You don't have to have that in the saber when you've got it on display. Again, you can remove that thumb screw, which makes it easier to change the blade to blade plug. And then you put the slotted screw that looks original back in the thing. And that's when you need a screwdriver. But the bottom line is, I'm including the slotted screw, I'm including the thumb screw, I'm including the charger, I'm including the blade, I'm sending it in a Maz Box. You've got red button activation from the Graflex shop, a Graflex shop flat tab, the brass eye from Shamim, cord out glass eye so where you got shine through. You've got the clamp card from Sloth Furnace. You've got the Graflex Clamp switch holder from Stock. You've got the chassis from Goth3D Designs. You've got the install by me. Prizm 5.1 by Plaque Labs. All these accuracy upgrades. You've got the drilled out rivets. You've got the Kobold D-Ring. You've got the KR bottom piece. I mean, this thing is awesome. This thing is awesome. You've got the brass tabs from KR. This is an awesome lightsaber. It doesn't get any better than this. It does not get any better than this. And the fact that it comes in the Maz Box with the charger, with the blade, with everything you need, with the R.I.C.E port. And I just showed you that R.I.C.E works on this saber. Welcome to Megtooth Sith Sabersmith, and I hope you all enjoy The Last Jedi. Thank you for watching.
It's always been there. It will guide you. The saber. Take it.